Hey, your first YouTube video, Angel. You're gonna be a superstar before you know it. Before you even know what YouTube is. Hey everyone, welcome to week 1. My first girl dad vlog. I just, I don't know, had some epiphany during my delusional state, eternal delusional state, earlier today that I wanted to make a video because in less than 2 hours my little baby girl will be exactly 7 days old. So yeah, it's been quite an exciting time to say the least, and I'm taking one of the very few breaks, if you want to call it that, to run to the store and get some milk and things at about 9:30 at night before they close. And yeah, obviously been very busy at home throughout the day, so this is my last chance to make this video while it's exactly 7 days old that my baby girl has turned. So anyways, yeah, this is my first child, and I'm almost 40 years old. For those of you that don't know me, I don't know where I'm gonna post this or who's gonna see it or whatever, but just, I guess, realized that I should probably make this little vlog, video diary, etc., maybe for my own sanity, and hopefully to maybe share with those other new parents that might be struggling and going through this stuff, or those that aren't parents yet that don't or haven't heard the things that I'm about to share. So because I hadn't really heard all the quite details before. So anyways, here goes. I'm just gonna ramble and rant, so bear with me, and keep in mind that I've gotten very minimal sleep over the past, like, I don't know, 8 days, so I have no idea how this is gonna come out. But whatever. So yeah, you know, everybody says, oh, you know, being a parent's gonna change your life. Well, first off, let's just reverse this back to all the freaking times over the past 20 plus years where people would tell me, like, oh, like, you know, especially like while I've been married, oh, like, you don't have kids yet? Why don't you have kids? And initially, like, in my 20s, I was married once before, my current wife, you know, people would be like, oh, when are you gonna have kids? And at that time I was like, I don't want kids, like, forget about it. And I really didn't want kids until I met my current wife, and I told her that, like, right shortly after I met her. So I guess it was meant to be that, you know, I didn't want kids, and, you know, with anyone else. So, which is a good thing, good prerequisite. But yeah, I was like, I don't want kids. Like, oh, why don't you want kids? They're the greatest thing. And it's like, I don't doubt that, like, but it just wasn't for me at the time. And, oh, well, you'll change your mind. It's like, well, if I do, great. If I don't, you know, whatever. I wasn't like, I will never have kids. I was just like, I don't want kids. That was my feeling at the time. I'm parked, by the way, so we're good. We're safe. That's safety is number one, is paramount, especially when you have a little one. But anywho, yeah, I didn't want them then, but, you know, they're like, oh, they'll change your life. And at the time I was like, exactly, that's why I don't want them, because I know it'll change my life. Like, so I wasn't immune to the fact that, like, kids take over your life, that becomes your whole world. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a great thing. Like, as soon as I saw my baby girl, like, I was, like, obviously in love, and, you know, still am, and I love staring at her all the time. And I can't I can't wait, and I know they say it all goes by fast, so enjoy the moment, all that stuff, don't rush it, but like, I'm super excited for when she can walk and talk, and we can go places and do things, and I can teach her things. I mean, I can teach her things now. We talk, I sing to her. I'm trying to teach her music theory last night, even though she's, she was 6 days old yesterday, and I'm like doing intervals and whatnot, but it's important. The brain's developing. It's a sponge right now, so I'm actually planning to do a TED Talk later, hopefully in 2024. It was supposed to be this year, but that didn't happen. But on how the brain affects, music affects the brain. My brain doesn't work right now. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. But even in the womb, right? Like, playing music for them. I played some classical music for her and all that, and it helped, and I hope it helped. But I mean, she came out like wicked smart. I think she's, people say like, oh, newborns don't really move their legs. And like, she's like squirming. I'm pretty sure I saw her do a push-up like right after they pulled her out of the womb. I don't know, maybe I was just delusional from no sleep, but anyways, it's awesome. She holds her pacifier. She's held it since the first time she got it, which I think was from one of the nurses on day 2 or 3 when we were losing our minds from zero sleep, and the nurses gave us a break. And everyone, by the way, so this whole rant is about like all the things people say or don't say or whatever, and I don't know if debunking is the right word, but I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. So people are like, oh, you got to stick with your baby everywhere, and I'm like, oh, on edge, like, okay, well, and the hospital is great. They're like, we took some classes, we did a maternity tour with them, and they're like, yeah, we let you go, you never have to be away from your baby. You can go to the nursery, you can go here, if don't let anyone take it out of your room, unless you really want to, but like, it's your choice. Like, so they're awesome. And they have like these little RFID tag monitors that they clamp on the baby's ankle, like literally in the room as soon as they come out of the womb. In our case, it was C-section, so it was in the OR. They like wipe the baby off, clamp it, weigh it, clamp it. And I was like there for the whole thing. They put like they put the tag, they put an ID tag on the ankle. They put another ID tag on the wrist, so 3 tags on the baby. The mom and dad each get a tag, or mom and partner. So like if any baby leaves the area, alarms go off. It's a whole thing. But that time I was like, she's like, we can, we had to check some vitals and weigh her. Like, we can just take her for like 30 minutes, give you guys, some nap or whatever. And we're like, please, God, thank you. So that was, thank God for those nurses. They were awesome. Thanks to all nurses. Like, I have friends that are nurse practitioners. I always wanted to be a doctor. I love doctors too, but nurses, it's a whole new level, like whole nother level of care. Like, there's the whole medical care part, then there's like the, actual like nursing, you backed out, like taking care of like bowel movements and bathroom breaks and like changing things and linens, and then like feeding, like they're your housekeeper, they're your nutritionist in a way, they're your butler, they're getting you drinks, they're getting you this, and they're doing the medical stuff, and they have to know like all these amazing things, technically, and if you're a really good nurse, which like pretty much all the ones we had were, this is a whole emotional component, like they're very supportive in that way. So shout out to all the nurses, like especially in labor and delivery and mother baby and all the women's and children's unit, like they're rock stars. So I got they had these little like nominate a nurse for an award thing, quarterly award. I grabbed like a whole bunch of copies because I want to nominate pretty much like everyone that worked with us, because they were all freaking phenomenal and we'd be totally lost without them. So that was great. But let me get in the store here and let's continue our little story, shall we? All right, so it's probably going to be a little noisy with the music and whatnot over the PA, but we'll just deal with it because this has got to happen when time allots. So anyways, don't worry, the missus is watching the baby, and all is good. So, and I just fed her, so she's well fed. But anyways, so yeah, people say that babies change your life. Certainly, it's all for the better. Like, she's awesome. Like I said, I can't stop staring at her. I know I'm biased, but she's definitely the most beautiful baby there is. And to be honest, I usually don't think newborns are that cute. And I think most of them look the same. And I know everybody says, "Oh, my baby is the cutest," and I always be like, "Yeah, of course everyone thinks my baby's cute." But now I'm the guy who's like, "No, for real, my baby's the cutest." And I'd say there's some validation to that because other people have told me, "Oh my God, baby is so beautiful." Usually people are just like, "Oh yeah, the baby's cute," but people the nurses and then other people that I've sent photos to are like, "Oh my God, the baby is so beautiful," and doesn't look like a newborn. She's actually even on the smaller side. She was full term, but the smaller side. But anyways, what am I looking for? I don't even know what I'm looking for. Oh, no. So here's the thing that people don't tell you when you So, they say it's going to be hard, you're going to be up, you're not going to sleep much. All that's true. But it's all the little details that they don't tell you, which is what I'm here to hopefully, reveal. So I didn't really get, and we did take a breastfeeding class. They kind of mentioned it here, but I thought it was more particular breastfeeding. But nobody really emphasized, no, the baby's supposed to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Somebody told me, you can just feed the baby. But pediatrician said it, nurses said it, so I'm going to roll with that. And she dropped weight, not too much weight, but for 10%, which is, they say normal, but, she was already on the smaller side, so you want to get her up there, but it's no, literally, you got to feed them every 2 to 3 hours, but it's you got to check their diaper, which usually means changing before, and it kind of wakes them up, so that takes some time. Then, either mix the formula, but you can do some of this at a time, heat up the breast milk, or, put them on the food, but breastfeeding is a whole other thing I can do a lot on, but that's its own challenge. My wife is having some challenges with it, and I'm just look, just pump so I can feed her when you're tired, or even you can feed her with that, because who cares, it's breast milk, just the mechanism. Who cares if it's via the or via a bottle, it's breast milk. She agreed, although a few days into it now, she's tired of pumping, and I can see why, because you gotta hook everything up, you gotta clean all the stuff afterwards, yada yada. It's a pain in the ass. So hopefully we'll be doing that forever. But yeah, so kind of tied into this whole thing. Let me get okay. Tied into this whole thing. So my wife was induced because she's advanced maternal age. She's basically anyone over 35. They consider advanced maternal age, aka on the older side, not that it's older. But just high risk of complications. Luckily, she didn't have. She didn't get morning sickness. Freaking phenomenal. At all. And we ended up delivering 27 minutes before her due date, so amazing. But the doctor, the OB, was like, if you're not baby's not coming like 39 weeks or like between 39 and 40 week mark. You should go to the boost because we'd like to have her out before 40 weeks just to minimize because the risk will go up after that. So started induction like 3 days before 40 weeks. And that was like a Wednesday night when we started that. For 24 hours, she was in labor, whatever you want to call it, early labor, whatever. But there were definitely contractions. And, and then the next morning, they started the pitocin and sending really strong contractions. It was like, crazy, way more intense pain, which I heard pitocin was the already intense contractions, that much more intense. So I told her, like, well, it's not going to get any easier, so you might as well just get the epidural now rather than wait. It takes like 45 minutes to get in and take it back and all this stuff. So she did it. Fun fact, by the way, my grandfather's cousin was the one who invented the epidural. So, you're welcome, ladies. No, just kidding. But I'm not kidding about him inventing it. Look him up, Dr. John Bonica. He, in fact, basically created the whole field of study of pain management. So his wife, Emma, nearly died giving birth to their first child. So that led him to create this epidural for women going to labor. And pain management, because he was a professional wrestler, in order to pay his way through medical school. This isn't like WWF, this is like World War II, era, like real wrestling. He was also like chief of anesthesiology for the Army during World War II, or just thereabouts, in the 40s. A whole bunch of facts, whatever, link in the description if I remember, and all this stuff. But yeah, pretty awesome rock star of a man, and I think there's a whole wing dedicated to him at like University of Washington or something. Just check him out. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to say it, but not that I'm in labor, but I'm like, I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to get for my wife to get the thing that was invented by a relative for this exact purpose. So like, plus I just wanted to see it in action. So she got that, and that definitely helps, but it's still intense. So 24 hours into labor, she was barely 6 centimeters, and the doctor's like, my wife was like intent on getting the baby out, and she already hadn't eaten for 12 hours prior to that moment because the last time she ate, and then the contractions, and then the epidural, and then she can't eat, and she only have ice chips. And I'm like, we're asking, like, trying to weigh this. It could be 3, 4, 6, 12, 18, whatever, so many hours until she actually gets to pushing to get 10 centimeters, and it's even more pain. And I'm like, you already don't. If you had to push right now, I don't think you have the energy to push. So you need exhausted. So I was like, I don't know. When she wanted to try, she was okay with C-section anyway before. She's like, I should probably try a vaginal birth or vaginal birth, just so I know what it's like. And then, we had to come to this moment. So she was like, yeah, you're right. Let's just go ahead and do it. So Doc agreed and did it. So it wasn't quite an emergency, but actually it worked out because as soon as the doc opened her up and I was sitting next to her in the OR, thanks to my wife, I heard the doc say, like, oh yeah, in this position she would have definitely needed a C-section anyway. So baby actually was facing up, so head down, but face was towards the front of mom. So she wouldn't have come through. She was in a compromised position. Plus, my wife's really small. So, anyway, so a whole bunch of reasons. But I'm like, in hindsight, couldn't they have done do ultrasounds to like all women in labor just to make sure everything we're in the right configuration to, you know, land this plane. Seemed kind of strange to me, but whatever. I'm not the doctor in charge, or doctor for that matter, so I'll take my advice. But I wasn't EMT for a bit. Not that that really has much bearing, but anyway. So that leads me to my biggest point here is like, you know, I'm obviously not a mom, I'm not a dad, and I'm not like trying to knock any moms out there, but like just, you know, I'm there to emotionally support my wife, and you know, I hear all these things that she was always looking up during the pregnancy and yada yada yada, and you know, I think one of her hesitations for even going to C-section, you know, even though she was personally okay with it, I think there was like this lingering in the back of her head of like, you know, oh, it's not, maybe it doesn't make you a real mom, or maybe it's the easy route or whatever. And as she very much learned, and I've very much learned since having the C-section, hell to the no, that is not an easy route. And I'm not saying vaginal's easy either. Obviously, she didn't push the baby out that way. She only one kid. But I mean, she was. You know, they could feel the baby's head, and she was at 6 centimeters. She definitely experienced contractions. So we know it's definitely not a joke there. But like, yeah, you're paying a lot more up front. She had kind of the worst sides of that. I think, having done some, you know, a day of labor and then C-section, but. Yeah, it's just like freaking, at least if you have the vaginal, and this is what moms have told me that have had both, vaginals, like, at least you're mobile and you can like do more than just pick up the baby. You can do some more activity, like C-section, you may drag on a little surgery. The doctor's like, we cut through 7 layers of tissue, the muscles, like everything. Stitch up all 7 layers, so it's a major surgery, like pretty much immobile. So that's why they have to stay longer in the hospital. In the hospital 4 nights after delivery. So thank goodness, because there's no way, you know, going home on day 2. But yeah, like I don't know if there are any women moms that are out there, or you know, feeling like, you know, C-section is like an easy route, or less of a mom, or whatever. But F that, you know, this is like, it's no joke. So it's she's been in extreme pain the whole time. Like, you know, they had to give her even more like drugs, narcotics, or manage the pain, which is TMI, made her constipated for a week. Finally, thank God, this afternoon we solved that issue. But like, I mean, I'm sitting with her crying for like, she's crying for hours on the toilet, like trying to deal with that, and she can't squeeze, and you know, it just feels like contractions. Like, and I feel like my stitches are going to tear, and like, you know, it's emotionally and physically taxing. I think more so postpartum with the C-section, at least from my family observations. But so, you know, to all the dads out there, the message is like, you basically are now mom, nurse, caretaker, you know, check all of the above, like from the moment they pull that baby out. So like, they pull the baby out, and then I'm over at the weigh station where they wipe her off, tag her, weigh her. I go to the nursery with her, and they're showing me, you know, okay, let's change her diaper, and then this is how you swaddle her, this and that. And so the first 2 hours, like, pretty much, because they're sewing up my wife and then bringing her back to the room for recovery, and then eventually I meet up with them, and I did the first, you know, real skin to skin with the baby. So like, you know, those first 2 hours, like, I was Mr. Mom, you know, for the baby. But even beyond that, like, I'd say in this week, whole week together, in the last couple of days, my wife has been able to do a little bit more of like the changing. You know, it's hard for her to move the beach, and she's already short. You know, I've done like probably 99%, 98% of the diaper changes and comforting things with the baby, just because, you know, she's got her own recovery to deal with. So, you know, they don't tell the dads that, so that's why I'm going to tell you, like, you know, just step up and take care of it. Like, you know, for me, I'm just like, do what you got to do. Right? I was a Marine and adapted over time. That's what we got. I just like taking care of people. Like I said, I was one of the doctors who changed my mom's bandages because she was caused surgeries and sick and everything. So it's kind of instinctual for me. But like, I'm reading all these, like my wife would send me TikTok videos of, you know, births and. Sorry, my wife called and she needs me home, so I'm gonna head back there. But anyways, just want to say, like, you know, she's sending me videos of like, you know, like these wives talking about their, you know, their husbands, like, oh, you know, he does this, that, and I see in the comment section, people are like, oh, I wish my husband did this, my partner did that, or my boyfriend did this, and I'm like, what kind of men are you knocking, like, allowing to knock you up that, like, aren't, you know, taking care of you and, like, doing stuff, like, I don't know, for me, it should be just kind of a given, like, you know, the child's 50-50 yours, and, like, you know, it's kind of like, going on this path together, like, it's just as much your responsibility as it is hers. So, I mean, I totally get, like, not knocking them. I'm lucky that I got paid paternity leave. I really feel for the guys or partners that have to go back to work, like, pretty much right away. Like, that totally sucks. And I know probably most of them wish they could be home helping and taking care of. But the situation doesn't allow, the finances don't allow, so you got to do what you got to do. But yeah, it's you know, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, maybe I'm a fucking weirdo anomaly or whatever, or just have high expectations. But I'm like, you know, how are there like not more dudes like stepping up? Like, why does that seem like a common complaint that you know, there's dudes especially, because I don't know, it could be other partners, but dudes that aren't stepping up to take care of it, especially like C-section. So, you know, we got 2 dogs as well, so it's like I'm taking care of 4 people. I'm not trying to complain. Like, it's just being real, telling it how it is. But, you know, I gotta take care of mom. I gotta take care of baby. I gotta take care of the 2 dogs. Like, I was going home from the hospital like 3 times a day. Let the dogs out, feed them, do things, you know, they need to be done. I still got to file kids' birth certificate, add them to insurance, and do all these other things. Like, the other thing they don't tell you is, like, fucking a task that would normally take 5 minutes takes like fucking 5 hours at least, because there's just so much shit going on. So it's like, you know, you start one thing and it's like, you know, like, I don't know, let me just put away this food item in the pantry. It's like, I'm going to move it 2 feet, but then I got to pick up the baby, I got to do this. And then like 3 hours later, oh shit, yeah, I got to move that. And you get like another 10 steps. And it's like, oh wait, you know, this, and I got to help, you know, do this. And it's like shit that should take you like, you know, seconds, minutes, short amount of time, take a friggin' eternity. You know, and the other thing is like people will be like, oh, just sleep when the baby sleeps. And it's like, I fucking would love to sleep when the baby sleeps. But there's like all this other shit that's got to get done. We got to prepare, you know, whatever it is, the breast milk, the formula, you know, especially with mom being down for the count with C-section. Like, you know, there's like people like, oh, take shifts. You can't take shifts when she can't hardly do anything because she's recovering from this major abdominal surgery. So, you know, what are you supposed to do? Like, both are out pretty much all the time. Like, I'm trying to let her sleep um, when as much as possible, because she needs to recover. But yeah, there's no like shifts or anything. It's just like, do what you got to do. Let me go ahead and check out, and then we'll reconvene in a minute. All right, so I'm back. I'm gonna try to wrap this up quickly because I've rambled on far too long, and I got to get back to the missus because she needs my help. But yeah, so people will be like, oh, just take shifts. Like, well, how can you do that when freaking you gotta, like, even if she wants to breastfeed, she's gotta pump every 2 to 3 hours, so she's gonna be up anyway. So then it's like, how's she gonna get a break? And then so we're trying to work out, like, well, maybe she'll pump a bit, and then I can feed her with the breast milk from the bottle while she's sleeping, which is what I did right before this. So we're trying to figure it out, but like, or sleep when the baby sleeps. It's like, or people go, oh, my baby sleeps through the night. It's like, yeah, maybe when they're like our baby would. She's fucking awesome. She could sleep for hours on end, but the nurses in the hospital and the pediatrician were both like, oh no, you can't like let her sleep for 6 hours. You gotta wake her up and feed her. So it's like, okay, well then I don't know where that comment's coming from, unless people just aren't feeding their kids according to the pediatrician, recommendations or whatever. Or people are like, oh, just hire a nanny. Yeah, sure. Let me get the money right from my money tree in the backyard. Like, I don't know. Some people are just living in a different world. Like, I'm sure I would if or hire a night nurse. It's like, yeah, I looked them up. I contacted a few. They're like $50 an hour, minimum 8 hours a night. So that's $400 a night. And for a lot of people, that's a lot of money. For me, that's a lot of money. Especially when you got a newborn and you got like all this other stuff to pay for. So, or you live in like one of the most expensive states in the country, or just basically you live anywhere these days because everything's gone up like 30%. So yeah, or people are like, oh, it takes a village, it takes a community. Yeah, I'm sure it does, but I don't fucking have one. Neither of us have family anywhere remotely here. Mine's on the opposite side of the country. Hers are all in Asia. And so it's just us. And then our closest friends live like 100 miles away. So it's like 2+ hours one way for them. And they're like, oh, move here and we'll help you. Like, I'd love to. Give me a bunch of money so I can move there, because I can't afford to do that right now with interest rates and house prices the way they are, even if I sold my house. But I get it. Like, I'm not complaining, because there's people that have it way worse. Like, my wife and I are like, damn, we're lucky. Our baby doesn't really cry unless she's wet or needs feeding or whatever. And, we have each other. Like, there are single moms out there that, don't have anybody. Or there's like, teenagers and pregnancies and like all this other stuff. Like, it could be a lot worse. People with like really sick kids, really premature kids. I know some people with really pregnancies, and it's like, so it could totally be a lot worse. But I just want to share the realities, my realities, things that I found that people don't really talk about, like the details. They just say, oh yeah, it's hard and you'll be tired and whatever, but like, no, you're going to be up every 2 to 3 hours. If your wife has a C-section, like, there's a whole lot, like, paying for her and things, like, you're going to take care of everybody and all this other stuff. And what was the other thing I was going to talk about? I don't even remember. But I'm sure there'll be some other things. I'm going to continue this vlog because it's way too much for just one video. But I just want to say happy 1 week birthday to my baby girl, who's the best looking and smartest and coolest and awesomest baby in the world. So I'm biased, but I don't care, because she's awesome. She's the best. So now I'm gonna go in and see her and mom. But also a couple other things I forgot to mention that I just remembered. you're probably going to lose weight because your lack of sleep and lack of consistent eating. Like, I had only started working out again literally like 4 weeks before the birth, because I didn't want to be the 40-year-old dad that can't play with his daughter or get up off the floor. So I did good. I lost actually 9 pounds of body fat, which is awesome. 6 pounds overall because I gained some muscle, which is great. I think that helped a lot in barely getting through this sleep-deprived week of things. But I lost I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 pounds or something in the past week, and not on my good nutritional regimen that I was on for the last 3+ weeks. I mean, I was trying so hard. I'm missing meals. Time doesn't exist anymore. It's just going by. And one of my friends was like, well, you just eat when you can, the bare minimum, and or eat when the baby eats, or whatever. It's like, dude, I'm just trying to that. I told you the task that takes forever to do. So one of my snacks is rice cake with it's a half a gram or something of half an ounce. I don't know. This little thin spread of peanut butter on top. It takes all of 15, 20 seconds to pull out the rice cake, pull out the peanut butter, spread it, put it all back. 30 seconds. And it took me, I don't know, an hour or two to get that accomplished yesterday, because it was people are oh, you can stop what you're doing. Well, it's I got a baby in my hands and this and that, and all these different things, needs need to be met. And then people be well, you got to take care of yourself, so you can take care of others. I wholly agree. It's not so simple. So there's that. And then the other thing related to food, because I'm Italian, so, my life revolves around food. Not right now, but people I never understood why people say oh, have people bring you meals, or some, people can bring you meals over. Again, if you have a community, it's great. But I never understood what that was all about. But thankfully, one of our neighbors, super nice, left a meal for us half hour before we got back from the hospital at the doorstep. And thank God, because just getting settled in, there was no way we would have remembered and or had the energy capacity, etc., to get food, make food, order food. Just having food there was a godsend. So huge thanks for that was a true lifesaver. But yeah, now I get why people say oh yeah, bring meals and whatever to people that have just had kids and stuff, because you don't have time to think about food, and you don't have time to prepare food. Hell, a friggin' microwave meal, you don't have time to take it out of the package, throw it in the microwave, and hit 2 minutes or whatever the hell it is. It just, time doesn't exist. Self-care barely exists. Obviously it's important, I agree, and yeah, because if you're not in good shape, you can't take care of the spouse that needs you, or mom, you can't take care of the baby, and everything will fall apart. But it's really hard to do, again, without support. So just wanted to add that tidbit in there, and just a thanks to my neighbor that did that. So stay hydrated. Yeah, I was drinking a gallon of water. I got this, where the hell is it? I don't even know where it is. It has gallon jug thing that I was making myself drink a gallon of water to try to get close to it a day. And that was going well until the baby was born. Now I'm lucky if I get it lasted. I don't even know how much water I'm drinking. So, the other thing they teach you is you gotta log every time you feed the baby, change the baby. I didn't know about that. So you gotta keep this whole log book. Let me just pick her up. Hi, baby girl. Oh, you're so precious. Oh, my precious little angel. She's waking up from her nappies. So they don't tell you that, like, you know, you gotta log everything. Isn't she the most beautiful baby you've ever seen in your life? I know she is to me. Hey, your first YouTube video, Angel. You're gonna be a superstar before you know it. Before you even know what YouTube is. That is if anybody watches this. But yeah, you gotta like log this whole like feeding and pooping and peeing and everything, because you know pediatricians and nurses and stuff want to track that. But like you forget to write shit down, because you'll be like, oh man, I gotta change the diaper, and then I gotta feed her, and then oh, she puked on the onesie I just put on her, and now I gotta put on another one, and oh, now she puked on that, and it's like, and then you're like, oh shit, when was the last time you did that? And then, oh wait, don't forget the wife's got to take her pills, and then, you know, all these things to remember, like Alexa, you know, Amazon, if you're, no, I didn't call for you, but if you guys are listening, this will just be a plug for you guys. Been a huge help at home, being able to just be like, Alexa, remind me to do this, set a timer for this, Apple, if you're listening, like my Apple Watch was indispensable in the hospital, to just set timers to remind to feed the baby, and remind, what else, whatever other reminders we had to do, feed the baby, check the baby, do this, eat ourselves, you know. And even before the baby was born, when I was working out, I had to, you know, eat myself every 3 hours. It was indispensable. So technology, leverage it. It's great. But anyways, yeah, I'll just go back to the closing and put her down. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know or hear about or don't want to hear about. And maybe I'll talk about it, maybe I won't. And maybe I'll just keep on doing these delusional rants with little to no sleep, because that's all I got time for. But anyway, peace out, and hope you found this useful, entertaining, enjoyed it, or whatever. So, all right, let's see when we can do the next one. Hopefully it'll be at least a weekly thing, if I can manage. I don't know if I can manage much, but if anything, this was a nice journal for me. So bye for now.